it's Vanessa Love, and this is my channel. Today it's just gonna be a continuation of the TikTok skincare stuff. So, and people getting injections and stuff like that. Okay, so there's a lot to this, as I've said before, and I can go off in any direction. So I'll try to keep it. So I think one of the things that really does affect how I have interacted with skincare is twofold. It is my mom, and it's also just my financial situations. So, all right. So my mom, she grew up in the religion Christian Science. I know that sounds like if I say she was raised as a Christian Scientist, that sounds very weird, but it's a religion, and it's a very strict religion. You're not allowed to have Tylenol. You're not allowed to wear makeup. So she would only wear eye makeup occasionally. She never really wore makeup. And actually, unfortunately, because she was kind of like that, she put down women who did spend an hour or two on makeup because she just didn't understand it. Which, I think it's fine to not understand something, but also should probably not put them down in the middle. But, life, boomers. Yes, there was that. Now, the other aspect of that, so, I had friends who would always try to, do full makeup, and, we had our nights of, we had a slumber party, and we had, our makeup, and, the makeup was absolutely terrible, because it was probably, stuff we found, or stuff that, just wasn't right. And to be told, just kind of oh, this isn't the makeup for you, that kind of sucks, because, there wasn't actually, a here's how you put on makeup type of thing. I have worked for a school who did have that as you should have a natural look, but here's some ways to apply stuff and also make sure that you don't pass on germs to other people, which yay, that's great. But I don't know, yes, that's important, but maybe it's not. So yes, whatchamacallit, so yes, I wasn't fully educated on that. I did occasionally try to use other things like foundation. I just really never got the hang of it. And again, it's one of those things where I'm well, when you have someone who teaches you, yeah, that's cool, but I just didn't, or I did, but it wasn't that important. It wasn't the main thing, it wasn't and this is how you choose this, and this is how you choose that. It was oh yeah, we just have some makeup here, we'll make you look fancy. And also, unfortunately, there was some bullying with that, so oh gosh, just so far away from it. And then once I got into college, I actually didn't know that extensions exist for white women. I know, it just didn't think about it. And it's even hard for me now to tell. And the other thing is that sometimes I am so just in my own little world that people's appearances just aren't important. I don't pay that much attention to it. So I worked with someone one time, a white lady. I guess she had cancer, so she had different wigs, and one day she was wearing a different wig, and I was oh, did you get your hair cut? Had she said yes, I would have been oh, cool, and gone on my way. Just never would have thought about it. And she was Vanessa, it's a wig. And I was oh, okay, and went on my way. Maybe she didn't want me to, I don't know, make comments about her hair or anything, but I just, okay. But my mom being hey, your little black friend, her mom has a wig on, I'd be oh, okay. And that's how I went on. Also, there was this whole thing about how bad extensions were. Life, it's that was terrible. I don't agree with all of that, with people being told that their extensions were bad. It really took me too long for me to figure out oh, braids mean extensions. Oh, I didn't know that. Again, unless someone tells you, sometimes you have no idea. And so while I was in college, a lot of people had like these like they dyed their hair. I didn't really do that because everyone was doing it at the time, and it was at the time of the chunky highlights and the lowlights, just not my thing. And so I was in class one day, and everyone else had their hair dyed, and I was like, I don't want this. I don't want this. And I know that some people had extensions. Now, looking back on it, like, yes. So all of those things cost a lot of money, actually. And so, like, while I was in college, I did have a minimum wage job that paid, like, maybe $1 over minimum wage, but, like, not enough. Luckily, it was, like, a CVS type of store, and we got, like, an in-store, what is that, like, discount or whatever. Which was good at the time. So, like, I did have some things that I was able to kind of, like, see and explore, but, like, not enough for me to save much money. So, there was all of that, and, like, I think maybe once a quarter, like, once every, like, 3 or 4 months, my mom would take me out to, like, buy some clothes at Walmart. So, like, that was my financial situation in college. So, that is not the like secure enough situation to get Botox or even have your nails done, to have, you know, good extensions. And had I known about extensions, I probably wouldn't use them anyway. Like, it's just one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I just don't, you know. I do have clip-ins, but like my clip-ins are purple and I do have to like cut them to my hair, which like I probably won't do. But like I'll probably have someone else kind of cut them. But like, yeah, like I would like to have, like, you know, my hair braided with the extensions, you know, just 2 braids. I'm like, I don't want any other ones. But at the same time, I'm also like, it's okay if I don't have that. Like, it's okay if I never have that. So like all of this stuff about like the skincare stuff, like Botox is expensive. Like having all of these like vials and other things that like you could just put in your face, or like lip filler. I first of all, I wasn't into it, but second of all, I just mainly wouldn't do it, because like it just didn't seem like the thing to do with money, and like I know that I mean it's so expensive. For me, I'd rather like be like traveling with that type of money, you know. Even now, if you were like, okay, so it's like however much money, let's say it's like 200 for like, you know, some injections, I'd rather spend that on like a really nice meal. If it was 1,000, I'd still want to like, I'd have good meals every day. I just would. It's not like makeup is not what I would, or like, and looking younger is not what I would want to spend my money on. It's just one of those things. But like, it is so interesting to see people being told basically like, this is the look, you have to have it. And then like also hearing, unfortunately, that it is making people have more wrinkles. It's making people have like really terrible reactions, which is one of the things that why I wouldn't do it, because my skin is so sensitive. Like I could go like this and I'm pretty sure by the end of the video there's going to be like a red mark there. I do not want anything anywhere that would have a negative effect. And there was always like warnings to like millennials anyway, that was like, hey, this is like what people are doing, but this is how this can go wrong. I think the other thing about like living in the lawlessness of the early 2000s, is that like there were a lot of people being like, so did you, like, to celebrities, like, did you get anything done? Like, what did you get done? Because people, one, wanted to put other people down and be like, plastic. But two, I think they wanted to know whether or not a look could be achieved naturally. And, like, that's important. Like, do you know how important that is? Like, can that look be natural? And, like, then all of these, like, makeup influencers came out, and it was like, oh, here, you can do this whole thing. And it's like, oh, oh, that's cool. Like, you can make your nose look completely different from what it looks like. You can have these under eye bags that don't exist anymore. You know, you can do all of these things to like make you look different, you know. And again, that's like why people would like ask celebrities, like, you know, what have you had done? Because it was important. Like, again, can this be like achievable naturally? And like a lot of people have had work done, and then you have like people like Meg Ryan, who everyone is like, oh my god, you can't, no. But then you have people like Pamela Anderson, who like looks like a normal, whatever her age is, 50, like looks like a normal 50-year-old, and everyone's like, oh my god, she aged. Did you expect her to look 20 for the rest of her life? Like, what did you think was gonna happen? You know. And then Tara Reid, like, I don't remember what event it was, but everyone was like, oh my god, she's so ugly. And it's like, I mean, she did take a long break from making movies and being out in the public because everyone was like running her ragged and calling her a whore. Like, do you understand that? Like, she just fucking unsubscribed for a while, okay? Like, you saw a glimpse of her and everyone was like, you know. And it's like, yeah, isn't she also close to 50? Like, isn't she one of the people who would, or no, she's 40, sorry. Isn't, like, she's like in her 40s. It's okay if after all of this time she let herself go or fucking aged. Like, again, it's just, it's amazing how much people want to be like, no, but you can't have that. Why? Why? What is it? And again, if it's because we have a youthful, like, culture that's mostly influenced by pedos, okay? Like, let's not amplify that. Let's not. Like, let's, like, embrace aging gracefully. Let's embrace, like, you know, people looking different, and like, it's completely okay. And especially if they had work done at some point and it just kind of just doesn't look right, it falls like Simon Cowell, like, it's okay. Like, that's how he looks now. That's okay. We're all fine. We're all good. You know, like, this whole, like, take a celebrity and like continue to like put them through the mud for what? For what? Because they're not going to be hired by Hollywood? Great. They're probably better off that way. You know, how many people have been absolutely, like, sucked up and spit out by Hollywood? Who's going to be normal after all of that? So yeah, there's a whole lot with that, and like, I think that like with influencers, the way that things have been going, like, we really have to talk about this stuff. Like, it's just so important to continue the conversation. And like, also, as I've said before, genetics, and like sun exposure, what your diet is, if you're exercising, all of that stuff can go into how your skin looks. And also moisturizing, you know, like washing your face regularly, you know, all of that stuff. And also not caking on like a lot of makeup, because makeup for some people can make them break out very badly. So like, you know, just kind of keeping things that are, you know, good for your skin kind of in mind. You know, as I've said, like, I could get skin cancer and breakouts. So like, there's a whole lot of stuff that I have to do that would be not good for wearing also makeup. Like, I'd have to reapply. Listen, okay, with sunscreen, it will say on there, reapply every 90 minutes. And sometimes for me, I'm like, depending on where I am, if I'm like closer to the equator, it's actually every hour. If I skip that hour, if I go for that 90 minutes, I'm going to be burnt. And that's not going to be good for like my overall health. So like, depends on where you are too. Also, reef safe sunscreens are important so that like we're not adding zinc oxide to the already suffering water. Okay. Just throwing that out there. Do reef safe. The other thing with that is that, like, if I have to reapply, I can't entirely have foundation and blush and highlighter and all the other stuff that goes with that, because like it's not going to look good after a while. It's just going to clump up and I'm just going to be like, why did I ever do this to myself? And for me it's an everyday thing, because I have the likelihood of getting skin cancer if I'm like out in the sun for over 20 minutes. It's lovely. It's wonderful, really. Uh, so great. So wonderful. Anyway, I hope that was helpful for you, and I will talk with you soon.